My name is Islammiyah Saudique-Kadejo.
My name is Cameron Keekran.
My name is Yvonne Fahy.
My name is Nora Mongan.
My name is Sarah Malloy.
My name is Esther. I'm Sonia.
My name is Dylan.
My name is Elena Domina.
Hello, Galway, the city of tribes. My name is Islammiyah Saudique-Kadejo. You call me the radio girl. Welcome to GOCOM Radio, the people's voice. Today on the breakfast show, we are bringing all the usual enjoyable, educative, and entertaining segments. I'm a social impact leader and media entrepreneur. I'm the CEO of GOCOM Radio, and that is Ireland First Ethnic Minority Interest, and also First Multilingual Community Radio based in Galway. I am also the founder of Amdala Africa Foundation.
I'm living in Galway City for all my life, you could say, which I love, and I feel happy here. My family is here, and I feel like it's the most beautiful city in Ireland. I actually had a car accident in the year 2000. I had completely different plans made, and they all came to a halt. So that meant that I had basically after the car accident, I got a spinal injury. So I became quadriplegic in the space of a second. So my life totally changed, which kind of for the first couple of years was quite difficult. But after a while, then you have no choice, but you just have to keep going. You can either go up or down. So I decided to go up.
I'm a Galway traveller woman of 4 kids, 5 grandsons, and I've been living in Galway for over 50 years.
I came out as trans in 2013, and that was, I suppose, when I came out publicly as trans. I'd known for quite a while before that there was something different about who I was or how I felt. And I think my earliest memory is I always tell this story. I go back to being, 3 or 4 years old, and I have a twin sister and I have an older brother. And my older brother, he's only 2 years older than me and my twin, so we're very close in age. I remember growing up and running around the house in just a pair of pajama bottoms, and my parents running after me with the pajama top saying, no, you have to wear this. And even at that age, understanding for me very much why my sister, my twin, needed to wear her top, but really resonating with, well, I'm like my brother. I'm like him. I don't see why I have to do this. And I think it kind of, in my personality and the way that I was, it was clear when we look back now that, if I had language or there was visibility, maybe we would have had conversations earlier than we had by the time, I was in my late teens, early 20s and having these conversations.
My story of coming to Galway is very interesting. When the war started, I started to find shelter for me and my kids. So I was invited by the family who lived in Galway. And I already had some information about Ireland, but not much. And what I knew, I also knew that something connected to Ireland is a cluttering. And I was very surprised when I came to Ireland with the help of this host family who hosted us almost 3 months, me and my 3 kids. Maybe next day or maybe next week, I realized that, wow, it's a city of cluttering, which was already dear for me. So I have a very personal, deep connection with Galway.
What makes me feel connected to Galway is my family. And they're very important to me. And the roots, we have a very strong embedded roots in Galway City. I have 17 brothers and sisters as well, so we're all living in Galway City and who are doing very well in life with educational journeys and employment.
As an Educate Together school, we are multi-denominational, co-ed, democratic, and I suppose the most important thing is that we're student-centred. Last year, we became a school of sanctuary. And in our work towards becoming that, we did some surveys with our students and discovered that we have over 50 nationalities represented in our school.
What makes you feel connected to Galway?
Well, I think Galway is a very inclusive city, and I've lived here for 10 years now. I lived in Singapore for a couple of years very early on in my life. But, coming here, I think there's so much stuff going on that lets me be a lot more part of it than I was offered in Singapore. I think there's so many events going on, so many different people from various communities that I can really feel like I belong, and I can say, oh, I'm part of this, oh, I'm part of that, and that kind of thing. I feel really belonging.
Yeah, I agree with that. What do you think, Sonia?
I moved here 13 years ago from Singapore, actually. Yeah. So, but I don't really remember ever living there. So Galway has always been like my home, and it's just a part of me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's where you feel home. And for me, it's the same feeling. I feel that Galway is my home now. And I am from Spain, but I almost have been living longer in Galway than I have been living in Spain. So for me, Galway now, it's my home.
Galway to me has been that place where I truly became myself. And it's truly a place where I feel I have been able to thrive and be able to really reach my potential. In terms of my community and how I see my community reflected in Galway, I think we're very fortunate here that we've a very vibrant LGBT plus community. We have a very rich history of LGBT plus activism and advocacy and stories. And we have a very, I think, active intergenerational community where we have spaces where we can bring people together from all walks of life, all ages, all backgrounds, to come and to have space to celebrate themselves, to celebrate our community, to share stories, to share knowledge.
How I see Galway, I see as a small but very bright and active city. It's very international, and very alive and vivid. And those people who moved from other places to Galway, they notice that there is a life here. No matter season, not season, there is still very many activities. CHIAF, where we volunteer together with my daughter. So Galway gives a lot of opportunities to people who only finding themselves in a new country. And many Ukrainians feel gratitude, especially being in Galway, and try to do all their best to stay in Galway, because it's a place when we can not only receive support, but can give back, because there is huge opportunity.
I'm very proud to be a Galway woman, and on reflection, where my community is concerned, we're very hardworking, resilient, and face a lot of obstacles sometimes in our lives, but we always drive forward, and we get a lot of respect and we give a lot of respect. And what we'd like is to have an inclusive Galway city and that welcomes one and all, which I feel times have changed, and I think we're all very welcome here in Galway City.
What makes me feel connected to Galway is Galway's sense of community, creativity, and openness to welcome everyone. And it is actually that sense of community and creativity that has given me a strong platform to do what I do in media and community development.
So what does Galway mean to you, and how do you see your community reflected in Galway?
Well, for me, Galway is, it's I see my community reflected in it, because everywhere I go, there's something that I can kind of be a part of. Someone maybe from Croatia or Serbia or somewhere, my family's from originally, and I can say, I feel like I'm part of Galway now. I don't feel like an outsider, and this is really my home. There's so many things, just walking down the street, you'll see different flags up, you'll see various people, and you're like, this is part of me. This is where I can see myself as part of for my life.
Yeah.
I think the same as well. Just seeing, say, in my church, in my school, even in my neighborhood, I see people who look like me, who had a similar upbringing to me, who grew up eating the same foods as me. And even though I might necessarily know them, we already have that connection, and that connection is everywhere, and there is a place for everyone here.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see Galway and all the different nationalities and communities and how everybody lives together, and there is a space for everyone as well. And I think that's one of the wonderful things about Galway.
Our community are reflected very, very well in Galway. We have just completed our 7th year of our Mishler Festival of Nomadic Cultures, which is getting bigger and stronger every year, more recognised and more engagement from our traveller community and a lot of communities across the world. It's a wonderful opportunity, and it shows there is resilience in the traveller community, because we were owning and stating a fact that we can do what everybody else can do.
One change or message I would like Galway to embrace so that everyone feels included is the fact that every voice matters. Inclusion is not just about representation. It's about being heard, being seen, and being valued. Somebody once said that diversity is inviting people to a party, inclusion is inviting them to dance, and belonging is actually making them part of the planning committee for that party. Galway is doing well, but I want us to embrace that we can work together, a stronger collaboration among community, and everybody will feel valued, their voices heard, they feel seen as well. We are not doing bad in Galway, but I want us to do this better. I want Galway to stand out as that city where no one is left behind.
I think for me, across the board, particularly as someone who has lived a very kind of open trans life in Galway for the last 10 plus years, is that I'd like to see people show compassion and empathy even if they don't understand. Being an ally and being supportive of the LGBT plus community doesn't mean that you have to understand every term or every acronym or every way that someone might identify or want to be seen in the world. But we can create better spaces together if we lead with compassion, we lead with empathy, and we lead with that people know themselves better than anyone else.
I think for Galway to be inclusive, I think they have to first off listen to us. We've been, like, I would be part of a group of activists that are very, very passionate about making changes in Galway. And we've gone to the City Council with many problems, but it seems that we're just fighting a losing battle. We don't have a full-time access officer in Galway City Council, which means that you're going through different departments to try and get your message across. And, you know, it just means that, for example, I just want pathways to be more accessible. I want them to consider the fact that we have very short amount of time when we're in town. The weather as well is a big factor. And also just to, you know, instead of taking away disabled parking spots, just to try and increase them. Because if they take a disabled spot away, they don't replace it. And also they have to, I think, reevaluate the size because I think, you know, the cars are bigger now. A lot of the angles of them is really difficult to try and get into and get out of. So if they made those changes, it would be life-changing for all of us, really.
One change I'd like to see Galway embracing, and a few more I suppose besides, is to be protected and welcomed and to be included and to be inclusive in our society today, and where we're protected, our human rights are protected, and that our voices are heard, and to eradicate racism and discrimination in the traveller community.
What will be one message or something that you would like to change about Galway that will make everybody feel included?
Well, I think in Galway, it's already very inclusive. So I wouldn't like to see that change. I'd just like to see that focused. And I think, you know, the big message is we're all human. We belong here. This is our home. I think we really need to embrace that even though we're all from such different places, we're all part of a community, which is now Galway. And that's where we belong. And that's where we should all really expect to feel welcome.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's really important that refugees and immigrants and people who mightn't have had as easy of a life as us also feel like their rights are present here and that they are accepted here and that they are valued members of community, because they are, and they shouldn't have to choose between where they're coming from and where they are, because everyone deserves the right to be both.
Very good. And as you were saying as well, Dylan, we have to concentrate on what we are the same and what unifies us.
If we are talking about the change that Galway needs to embrace. From my perspective, we need a quality place for everyone, which could be a community integration hub, a place where people can show their talents, first on the volunteer basis, and have then affordable place to rent to continue sharing their skills.
One thing that I love about Galway is the welcoming spirit and the strong sense of community. Galway has a way of making people from different cultural backgrounds feel at home. It feels so special. For me, it's not just about the beauty of the city. I love the water. I love the weather. The weather kind of strengthens my resilience, that I can be setting out of the house and it's warm and sunny, and before getting to where I'm going, it's rainy. It teaches me to always be prepared and be ready for anything. I know people say the weather is bad, but the lesson I pick from the weather is that be prepared and be ready for anything, and that is absolutely beautiful. I also love the warmth that has allowed me, even a migrant, not to only settle here, but to start my family here, to run a social enterprise here, to run a charity here, and to have friends, amazing friends that are supporting, that are rooting for me here.
I feel like I'm part of a really multicultural community with, loads of different traditions, the music, arts. It's a fabulous place to come. I mean, you could spend a whole day walking around the city and have totally different vibes from one end of the street to the other. So it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, there's one thing I love about Galway is that we have opportunities. They're getting better and better. We're being more included in our workforce, our education, our health, well-being, and it's the opportunities that are waiting there for us to take them up. And that's one thing that I can appreciate very, very much as a mature student going back to study Masters in Family Support.
The one thing that I love about Galway that has kept me from ever leaving the west coast of Ireland is being so close to the sea. Being able to go for a swim, jump off Blackrock if I feel brave enough, which has only happened once, but maybe it'll happen again. Just to be able to be out in nature, to be out surrounded by, the waves of the ocean, have a space where you feel free. I think that's always called to me from the time that I've moved here to hopefully the day that I die, that I'm still going to be surrounded by that Galway air and the Galway sea.